Okay, is that but there we go. All right, now we're on. Now we're cooking with gas or something. I don't know. How are you today? I was good until just now. Craziness. I don't know why it did that. So weird. Um, how was your weekend? Mine was fantastic, to be honest. I saw my kids and their kids um Friday, Saturday, and Monday. So that was excellent. Um, I hosted dinner for my nephew that we rarely see um, on Friday. Him and his wife and their two daughters came over with my son and his two sons. It was fine. It went mostly well. There was one little hiccup. Um, anyway, yeah, so that was fun. I actually made dinner because I knew we were having pizza the next night, so I didn't want to do pizza. Saturday was my son's birthday, and we went over to his house and had a seafood boil, which he does once a year, usually not on his birthday. Sometimes on his birthday though. So this was his annual seafood boil. Um, the his wife's family used it as the kid's birthday party, which is fine. Because their birthdays do kind of line up right on either side of that. So that was great. That's the reason my nephew came. But he had never been to my house, so he's been here a few times for like weddings and stuff, but he's never been to my house. So that's the first time he was at our house. Uh, so it's great seeing them. I forgot that my step great niece is a step at one point, and she called me grandma, which is even better. One of my son's friends hugged me and said, "Hi, see you later, mom." And my nephew was standing right there, and he hugged me too. I'm like, "You can't call me that. Your mom will get mad because I'm his aunt." You know. Oh, speaking of guests, we're also having guests on Thursday. So Thursday's episode will be on Friday this week. Just FYI, keeping you in the loop. Keeping you in the loop, and I'll also remind you again tomorrow, probably at the end of the episode. So watch the whole thing. What else we got going? Yeah, so it's fun. Kids are so cute. Uh, BW got his gifts. He get his the in-laws gave him a bunch of tractors, which he's a tractor boy. So I asked him yesterday, "What do you want for your birthday?" He says, "Nothing. I don't need anything else. I got all the tractors." Now I'm gonna have to go find something. I have something in mind. Um, I saw it last week. And I can go get it tomorrow. Um, I couldn't find a tractor that wasn't green, which is a big problem because the son doesn't is not a John Deere fan, and apparently toy manufacturers doesn't do not realize that there are other tractor manufacturers other than John Deere. So all the tractors are John Deere green. I didn't find one little one that's red, so I got him that, which I will still give him. But uh, I saw another little vehicle someplace that has like a cow, it has a trailer with cow on it, so I'll probably get him that. Um, can't think of much else. Yeah, I can't think of a whole lot else. Food was good. Cake was good. My daughter-in-law's aunt makes the cakes, so they're always good. She's very creative. One was a dinosaur theme and one was tractor theme. I think you can guess which one goes with which one, which kid. She did not make one for my son. I don't know why. Thought about taking it. Now I'm glad I didn't take a cake. I didn't know that the in-laws would be there. And I'm glad I didn't take a cake because they had two cakes. I was gonna take a cake for my son's wedding, but so anyway, didn't do that. Still have to get together to celebrate his wedding. Has not happened as a family yet. Um, what else is going on? My son is out of town in training. He had to drive to Kentucky. Kentucky. So, um, he says they didn't do a whole lot yesterday. They just listened. I forgot to ask him how many people, how many people are in his training class. Um, so he's got his little grown up job there. His other job was a grown up job, but it wasn't a stressful job. And he gets a lot of like the 5 hours he spends. So he'll get 20 hours of comp time for driving 5 hours back and forth um to his training session. So that's nice. Um oh, did you guys hear about the Bucky's controversy? It's great. Change all your logos to beavers because apparently they're suing everyone. Bucky's is suing everyone that uses a beaver, even when they live in like Beaverton and they're the Beaverton grocery store and have been around forever. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When a company gets so big that they're going after little guys for no reason other than that they have a logo that not even similar to theirs, just the same animal. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So they have a GoFundMe for the grocery store in Beaverton that uses a beaver logo. I do not have a link to it, but I'm sure you can find it. It's a place in Ohio. So I never thought I'd be defending Ohio. The comments online are, I never thought, I'm from Michigan. I never thought I'd be defending Ohio, but I'm all in on Ohio on this. Oh, what else we got? There was something else, and now I can't remember what it was. So I guess we'll just dive into. Oh, I know. I did watch Jay and Pamela. It was very boring. I could not like concentrate on it. Essentially, they're training Cheddar, so they took her to a trainer, and then later in the episode, you see Raphael. My hair is goofy today. Raphael training Cheddar, and Cheddar is not obeying anything. So Jay and Pamela are not good dog trainers at all. They also went to see the OI specialist, and she basically said outright that you can't carry a baby. And Pamela was like, I thought she'd put more thought into it. I was like, no, she doesn't need to. She's an expert and she knows um, she knows, you know, what's what. I mean, like Pamela's torso is like half the size of a normal, average person's torso size. Where does she think that baby's gonna go? And IVF, you can have twins. Especially if she doesn't take the first few times. So, yeah, that's a thing. That's a total thing. Um, oh, and they went to see a marriage counselor, which sounded like he wasn't really a marriage counselor. It's just a general counselor. They need to see an actual marriage counselor, and not somebody that's just guessing at what he's doing. Um, that sounded like Jay didn't like what he said either. So anyway, they got lots of problems and nowhere to put them. They seem very immature for 30-year-old people. People complain about Balen and Colin being immature, but geez. All right, now we will jump into, spend 10 minutes. Now we'll jump into our Reddit reads. First is from Mildly Infuriating, is entitled, I asked for no tomato, and they gave me a tomato bigger than a patty. And you gotta see this, it's hysterical. Like, I've never seen a restaurant have a tomato that big. That's insane. Oh my goodness. They were just mad at you. Just take the tomato off. It's not that big a deal, dude. Come on, what are we doing here? Top rated comments from Fermenter, and they say, pretty sure they heard mo tomato, maybe bro tomato or whoa tomato. House Evil answers, meat on burger, no tomato. Tomatonator. Third top right comment is from Dizzy Nerve, and they say, bro working in the grill is laughing. Taryn answers, no tomato, I'll show you no tomato. Dependent Trip says, honestly, it's so big, it's easy to take off. Exactly. Harriet Tubman says it still leaves a taste. How? Somebody says, what if they're allergic? And he says it drives her nuts because, there's still a risk of cross-contamination. That is true. She says she worked with someone with a deathly allergy to peanuts. And he wouldn't eat any of the baked goods just to be safe. Because they had peanut butter cookies that they made. And that's how you do that. Don't order things of tomatoes if you don't want tomato. And don't have a fit if it comes with tomatoes, because they can remake it, or you can take the tomatoes off. It's not that big a deal. Next we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled, Do It, Scam the Scammer Back. I got scammed last week by a guy on Craigslist. He sold me what I thought was a good working washing machine. He stayed with me for the first 10 minutes to make sure it worked well enough before I paid him $400 cash. Then it stopped halfway through the rent cycle. The thing didn't work. So I messaged him and say the washer isn't working. What gives? I looked up videos and spent 2 hours trying to fix it myself. The machine is a piece of garbage, no response. I'm pissed I got scammed, but then I find more of his Craigslist postings. This guy must have a warehouse of broken appliances waiting to scam people with. I sent him an email on one of my burner email accounts asking if he can deliver 2 hunky old dryers to me. I'll pay extra. He responds immediately. I tell him I'm 40 miles away. Can he do it? Absolutely. I tell him to meet me in a lot at 3 p.m. peak rush hour. The next day goes by and he asks if we're still on. Yeah, 250 rolls along and he says he's almost there. I tell him I'm running late. I get an email around 3:10 p.m. Where are you? I tell him, so sorry, traffic's terrible. I'm about 20 minutes out. At 3:35, almost here, I say, I'm so sorry again. I ask if he can pull the big old hunky dryers out of his car so we can load them up faster. I'm almost there. He says he will. 3:45 p.m. Here yet? His messages kept coming. He sent me the last one around 4:30 saying he was leaving now. Thanks for wasting his time. Heading back to the sweet traffic. I lost $400, but man, it felt good to waste a scammer's time. That's how you do it. And tell everybody you know, and they can scam them too, like that too, until he stops scamming people. Imaginary Park says, yes, keep doing this. Mix it up each time and make it a week apart. Hilarious. Crispy Bacon. It's Chris P. Bacon. You know, a name of a pig. I'd even stretch that out for a couple of weeks or more. And I might even have him deliver some people that I don't like too. Why not get some double revenge out of the deal? Poses him using a new burner account. And he shows up asking them to deliver a washer and dryer. They have no idea what he's talking about. No Tap says, play the long game and wait months in between. Do it until at least he burns up $400 by your estimate. Coder Joe says, no, rinse and repeat. Rufo says, impossible, unfortunately, as he'll stop halfway through the rinse cycle tragic. That's good. That was really good. Oh my goodness. Jack Handy says, how about post a link to one of his ads so we can all get in on the fun? I effing hate scammers. Truth Seeker says, the way Reddit could take down these guys would be amazing. Imagine the good that could be done if even a portion of the users united against scammers. We've seen what happened with fundraising. It would be epic. That would be really cool. Next is from Am I Overreacting and it is entitled AIO Update. My 20 female boyfriend, 22 male, is hanging out alone with a girl that likes him. Okay. There's the original. You are a terrible person. It's okay. I can still find things. I can still find things. Okay. Here we go. You cannot hide from me. You cannot. Okay. AO, my 20 female boyfriend, 22 males, hanging out alone with a girl that likes him. So this is the build up to it. We never fight, so it was really weird. Oh, what? So, oh, I don't know. LMFAO, what? Yeah. Do you want to meet up tonight? OMG, yes. I just gotta get some makeup. I look like a rag right now. Attention seeker, you look beautiful without makeup and you know it. So I'm assuming this is the boyfriend and the other girl. It won't be raining by 8. 8, yeah. That's kind of late. No, I gotta get my cousin to his football practice around that time anyway. Why is your cousin having football practice? Are you lying to me? Can we go out at 6? And then he says he's going to be at somebody else's house. Oh no, this is she and him. You're hanging out at someone's house alone, yeah. Since when were you two that close? Dude, she obviously likes you. Don't play with me. No, she doesn't. She's just trying to get out of a relationship. Trust me, she's not over her ex. She says she was literally eye-winging you last weekend. I ignored it because I assumed you knew not to entertain her, but now you're going to hang with her alone at her house. She says he says you need to take a deep breath and listen to yourself. She's my friend. I've known her longer than I've known you. I'm not going to drop my friendships because of your jealousy issues. She says, what the wing? That's so disrespectful. I'm just setting a boundary. I wouldn't care if it was someone or someone else. It's just the fact that it's someone who clearly likes you or wants to wang. And no, when I think about it, it wouldn't be okay with it in any case. It's weird hanging out alone at the opposite gender's house when you're friends. It's not. He says, you're projecting your going to entertain you. I'm busy right now. And you need to take some time to understand how big of an issue you're making out of this, out of nothing. She asked if it would be okay if she hung out at someone's house. He says, do whatever you want. Bye. She says, I don't want it, though. I want you. He says, I know, and I want you, and that's why you shouldn't be so overdramatic. I don't want anything to do with her. Can you respect my boundaries then? Boundaries are for you, not for him. You can't tell him what to do. I'm not comfortable with you two hanging out alone. He says, no, you're being controlling. You're clearly jealous, and don't message me anymore. I'm angry. So this is the build up to it. We never fight, so this was really weird. We've been together for 3 years. We've had a relationship with the same interests and opinions, beliefs that compatible in bed. We've never had any problems with jealousy or anything until now. I have a group full of chat mutual friends and so on. And one of those people is a girl that I know wants to wang him. So you got to trust him, not her. She was eyeing him last weekend and we went on a cruise trip. And we were playing cards in the cafeteria, just laughing loudly at his jokes, giving him bedroom eyes when she thought no one was looking, and even trying to sit close to him. I didn't speak to him about it or anything. Why not? That's dumb. But I didn't think I needed to because they're not close anyway, but they've known each other for a long time. I'm not sure how long exactly, but since maybe high school. They don't hang out. Okay, that's high school, and she's 20, so that's really not that long. He has other female friends that I don't mind, ones that he's actually close to. I don't have any guy friends I'm actually close to. I can tell he prefers it that way because whenever I did mention something funny about one of the guys, he would kind of get a sour look but try to hide it as if he didn't want to ruin our mood. And that is the proper way to act, ma'am. He is acting properly. I don't feel like I need any other man in my life when I have him. You're allowed to have friends. And making one person your entire life is weird. And the blacked out name I mentioned was a guy I used to be friends with, like close. We barely even talk anymore unless it's in the group chat. But that guy used to like me, and it's kind of known. So he said you could go. Anyway, am I overreacting for being mad? I'm starting to think he might be right, but I don't want to ask anyone in real life. Okay. She posted that a couple of times. She posted that, and I remember overreacting. I didn't boyfriends. Here's an update. I talked to him, and this was his response. She says she's sorry. And she admits she was being controlling. And she misused the word boundaries. I'm not expecting you to cut her off, but why do you guys need to hang out at her house? Why not? Maybe she is testing the waters, and maybe this will break him up. Let him go. It's a lot of text. Look, I just don't know. It's kind of hurtful of you not to trust me at all, but I appreciate the honesty, but I'm still at her house, just so you know. And she says, okay. Is she trying anything? He says, OMFG. I'm so sick of this whole situation. She says it was a normal question. It wasn't. No one wasn't. She hasn't tried anything, but even if she did it, maybe I would hesitate. Maybe I would hesitate. Well, yeah. She says, that's not funny. And then she says they're not compatible and you want to keep things your way, and that's how it is. But I want to find someone who sees things the way I do. And he says, good luck with her. And he says, what? I probably said the F word. What the hell are you talking about? I wasn't even being serious about that. I can leave her house right now. Just stop being so wanging immature. Where are you? Home? Stop. Seriously. Where the F are you? I don't want to throw 3 years away. You know I love you, and I'm not even at her house anymore. She says, is there anything? So she says, she's going back on her word now. Um, she wants to know if there's anything he hasn't told her. And she says, like what? He says, like anything. He says, you're doing this crap again, and you just apologize for not trusting me. And now, so then he admits that they've hung out a few times. I wasn't sure if she was interested, and I didn't want to assume because throwing away a friendship as old as high school days winging sucks. I mean, I can understand that. For sure. So she says that's his response, and she says she's done and wondering if she acted too hastily. Girl, everything you do seems to be hastily. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do now. Am I overreacting for doing this? Yes. He says he's turning around. I don't know. I disagree. I think she's being a little not honest with herself. Update 2. I think this is from him. I don't know. Called 4 times and then a little later actually messaged saying he was outside and wanted to talk, and we did. It didn't mean anything to me. She doesn't even mean anything to me. She says that, which is crazy now. This didn't have to become a big deal. He admitted he knows that she might be interested in him, but wasn't planning on entertaining it, and that I should have trusted him. Exactly. I said he was entertained by going over to her house alone. No, not necessarily. He proceeded to tell me not to throw away 3 years because of this, and I said he was the only one who threw away, and we're not compatible because we have different opinions on what's okay in a relationship regarding each other. And those jokes and rude way of communicating really just puts me off. Okay, now that's a legitimate reason to break up with someone. That you don't like the way he jokes. That's fine. So she gets something from the girlfriend, the other girl that she's worried about. I heard about how you and him fought and that you feel uncomfortable with him and being alone in my house. I need you to know me and him have a very friendly bond. I think it's really rude and controlling of you to expect him to just drop me. And yes, you were right. Weren't close and we haven't been, but since my breakup, he texted me asking me how I was and was there for me. Of course, I'm going to appreciate him a lot and then invite him over to my house because why not? Yes, he's an attractive man. But for you to think I want to hook up with him just because and thinking that he'll want to hook up with me too just says you don't have any own self-esteem, which is not attractive at all. I don't blame him for tiring. I know you two don't fight a lot, and I never saw you as a jealous type. Like even the other girls going, like, no, we're not. Girlfriend, 2 words. He loves you. And even though I think he can do better in terms of everything, I want him to be happy. I think you should consider going to therapy. Have you considered that maybe if he doesn't have a problem with my company over yours, maybe it's not so weird that he would rather not drop our friendship for you? You're just a girl, and we know those come and go. Sorry. Oh, that's Bernie. That's Bernie. So after she proceeded to tell me not to throw away 3 years just because of this, and I said he was the one who threw it away. Uh, she says I I said I deserve better, and he sort of exploded on me. And listen, uh, I listened and didn't yell back and admitted I may have issues to work on as well, but not alongside him. Then he wanted to come inside and talk, and I said no. They were in the front hallway, and he seemed to be panicking more and more by the second. And I told him to calm down. He says he loves me and doesn't want to lose me. I said, you don't speak like this to someone you love. If you really cared, you would have tried to see from my perspective, and somehow at the very least tried to reassure me or simple, I don't think she likes me. But if she does anything, I'll shut it down and leave. I'll keep you posted. Basically, that's what he said. Or going somewhere that's not private. I mean, sending him what I quoted would probably save this entire thing, but instead he started calling me insecure and jealous as if there was something to hide. Really? Because it sounds like you're, which there was apparently was because of me hanging out doing wing if I know. I said we're breaking up because this turned toxic. And he said, no, no, please, 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 so on. Uh, dude, just leave her. She's not worth her time. Now I've gotten messages from the girl, which means he talked to her about it. Probably. Okay, why wouldn't he? You clearly are. Last date update. She texts him telling him that the girl's texting her. And he says he didn't know she said that. Calls himself a great boyfriend. Okay, anybody who says that's sus. He says he's making a bigger deal. She says, it's going to be my last message like this before I block you. We're not together anymore. We're not going to meet again. Don't come to my house again and preferably try to avoid me in the group chat as well, as I will. Goodbye. He calls her immature. Thank you for the responses. And I saw a lot of people saying they'd been through or know someone who's been through something similar, if not the same. I want to say that I'm very glad you hopefully is doing better now. Found someone and have now found someone better or is better on your own. Um, seriously, like, okay, you had a boundary. Your boundary was don't go over to the other girl's house or I'll break up with you. It wasn't you can't go over there because it'll make me mad. Somebody asks if you always talk like that, and she says no. I don't know. I'm glad they broke up because neither one of them, they both deserve better than each other. All right. Next, we have entitled people entitled Return a Wedding Gift After 40 Years. So, my aunt and her husband recently decided to divorce after almost 40 years. The reasons aren't important, but the divorce is going well. Good to hear. Apparently, my ex uncle's sister contacted my aunt and asked that since we were divorcing, could my aunt return the gift she bought them. Apparently, she bought them a coffee maker back in 1987. That thing had long since died and gone to the dump. Yeah, those things only last about 10 years, even in 87. Oh, that's insane. When my aunt told her ex sister in law that it was gone, her ex sister in law asked if my aunt could buy her a new one and replace it. No. Apparently, my aunt hasn't responded. to this request yet, but my family group chat is enjoying the roasting this one for her audacity. You cannot expect 40 years of a successful marriage and expect the wedding presents to come back to you at the end. That's insanity. If it was, she probably engraved it. It was probably an engraved copy. She- oh, Lordy. There's an update. Well, thank you for all the replies. I passed on the idea of getting an old broken Mr. Coffee to give to my ex-sister-in-law. My cousin seemed to love it and started looking online for an old busted one. My aunt, the one who was divorced, says that while she thought the idea was funny, she was going to tell the ex-sister-in-law she needed anything to contact her brother and then block her. Sorry, it's not the funnier ending, but y'all gave my family a lot to joke about in my group chat. Better than what we were normally talking about. Well, yeah, why wouldn't she go to her brother and ask for crap back? Different method says there's petty and then there's 40-year-old coffee maker petty. Wow. Oh. Emmer does not rep me. Says this is the type of thing you go to Goodwill bins for and grab an old ratty one to return to her. Jane Purple says, and don't forget to leave in wrinkled filter with moldy grounds in it. Celebration Store says that's for flavoring. Accomplished says seasoning. Oh, random pauses. I told her to go with the dump look for that one. Craigslist ad. I'm looking for your oldest, dirtiest, nastiest coffee maker. I added the nastiest coffee maker, preferably non-working. I need a non-working. Or go on Facebook Marketplace. I need a non-working coffee maker. Can anyone send me one? I'll come and get it if it's local. Chick Norris says, OMG, this is hilarious. What a stupid woman. Their top-rated comment is from Psychological Cell, and they say, oh, please, one opportunity. Tell your aunt to hit up some garage sales, flea markets, etc. Get a nice $10 coffee maker, wrap it up nicely. Extra credit if you can find some coffee that's been in the closet for a long time, add it in gratis. I have some. You can have. Miss Demon says, no need to hit up the eBay bins to find an old dead one. If it isn't broken, that needs to be fixed. Lisa Knows Best says your aunt should get like 7 or 8 of them at garage sales. Give them all to the ex-uncle's sister and tell her to pick the one she gave them because they got so many cheap coffee makers. They have no idea what she gave them. I can't believe people. That's insanity. This one's really good. This one is so good. Oh my goodness. That's insanity. Next we have Murdered by Words, and it is entitled Los Angeles, an English-speaking city. Willie says, Los Angeles is an English-speaking city, period. Nathan says, Los Angeles is literally the angels in Spanish, you jar of expired mayonnaise. Seems like we already had that one. Maybe not. Pirate John says, wait until you tell me that El Pueblo de Nuestra Señorita la Reina de Los Angeles de Porciuncula is in English. I can't pronounce the last one. I mean, my Spanish is okay, but it's not that good. These people are going to retcon it being founded by English-speaking people. Just you wait. Oh, so dumb. Also, a lot of people in Los Angeles do not speak English. Not necessarily because they're not American citizens. Next, we have Traumatized and Back, and it is entitled No, You Won't Get Sick, But You Could Off Me. I'm not sure if this is the correct place for this, but I thought, why not? The story itself is kind of short, but I still think it's funny. I'm not sure if the tag fits perfectly either. Oh well. Forgive my spelling mistakes. English is my second language. This happened 12 years ago. I just got heart transplanted like 6 months before. I was on medical rehab to get me back on my feet because there were some complications that left me with seizures and having to learn a lot from scratch again. That sounds horrible. I'm so sorry. In that rehab center, you stay for 4 weeks with your family, get food, room food, activities, and all of that. It's really great there. Went a few times already and can't complain. Anyway, my family, older sister, my mother, and father were in a toy store on the weekend to kill some time. I wasn't paying too much attention to my surroundings and didn't know until later, but it went something like this. I was standing in the aisle wearing a face mask because that's what you have to do for the first year after getting a new organ. Yes, true. Also, if you're on chemo, you should be wearing a mask. you you get medication that messes with your immune system, and this is the first year bears the most danger because you got to build up that immunity back. My grandmother was with her grandson when she noticed me staring at the toys. I was 14, by the way. She didn't really like that I was wearing one and grabbed the boy, dragging him away and telling him that I could get him sick and he shouldn't get himself in such danger. My father, noticing everything and being really protective and also not taking any BS, tapped her on the shoulder. She turned around to a man almost twice her size and started staring up in confusion. My father smiled sarcastically and told her that no, her son wouldn't get sick because of me, but I could possibly die if he was and got close to me. The look on her face was apparently priceless as her jaw dropped, and she looked so shocked and devastated that it was possible for a young child to have such problems. She quickly grabbed the kid, some random toy on the shelf, and left without another word. I, on the other hand, never knew any of this was happening and only found out about it a few years later. I had a laugh about it. Moral of the story, don't assume crap. And one would think that people learned that by now. Dubstep is stopped right in the comment. She says, so sorry, LP. Some people really are classless. Your dad is my new hero. Patient Parsley says, other moral, don't Wayne with Millennium Breaker's dad. Next time you talk to him, tell him he's awesome. Glad to hear he made it through the whole transplant experience. Rome says, almost all my mom's side of the family works for the health area. So knowing that usually people using masks is because they can't get sick from the healthy people is such a boomer that people can't be so dumb. OP says, I mean, it wasn't even mad. She thought she was protecting her family, but the assumption itself was stupid. A lot of people in school had more common sense than me. I explained it and everything was fine, and those were teenagers. Candace Cry says, in Japan, they wear masks when they're sick, so they won't pass their germs around. I do that too when I'm sick. Definitely not something that would ever happen in the US. There were issues even when mandated. Next is What Should I Do? And is entitled, My Fiance Passed Away 2 days ago. How am I supposed to continue on? I am so sorry. That is so devastating. My fiance, 37 female, has been medically disadvantaged most of her life, but about 6 years ago, she had a heart attack and found out she was in renal failure. Sparing people the details of between fast forwards to Thursday, she lost the fight. She pressed forward, fought every step of the way until her last breath. She wasn't giving up. She has a 7-year-old that I am now taking care of. He was her main motivator and me, of course. Oh, poor kid. Poor little kid, no 7-year-old deserves to lose their mom like that. Her death was caused by complications due to an incurable disease called calciphylaxis. It is extremely rare in younger patients, but it just spoke to how bad the situation was. If you do a quick Google search, it will tell you everything you need to know. It's painful, debilitating, and life-changing. She spent the last 2 months of her life laying down in a hospital bed. I was there for every wound dressing change, every bowel movement, every major conversation with healthcare providers. I'm scared from the intense wounds I had to see. Scarred. I'm scarred from seeing my loved one wither away from a person to a husk. I feel so empty and lost and just overall exhausted. The past 6 months have been filled with days getting up, getting our 7-year-old ready for school or camp, then me getting ready for work, going to the hospital to check in on her, and then going to work, then coming home to pick up our son, and then directly after that, go back to the hospital with him to take care of her. Poor kid. That's no way for a 7-year-old to live. Heartbreaking. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be that way if you have to do that. I'm saying it's heartbreaking that that had to be that way. What should I do is how do I move on from here? It feels like an insurmountable task to move on from. I know no one is asking for me right now, but it's something that's racking my brain. We had goals, plans, projects we wanted to get to, and now it just seems like a little faded into dust of the wind. Seems like a lot of those happy thoughts have just withered away. I suppose this is how I'm supposed to feel, and I'm grieving, but it still doesn't make me feel better. I'm just looking for any guidance on how to make it out on the other side. Edit. If anyone wants to know more details of how we met online playing Overwatch or details of her health decline, uh, I would like to help anyone possible. I'll try to make sure no one is affected by this disease. Edit 2. I have been her son's despite us not being married. He is my son in my eyes. Primary care provider for the past 2.5 years, while his adopted father, my fiance's ex-husband, has been a weekend dad. Nothing bad about that, just describing the situation. I love him more than anyone could. He's a special kid, and I want to give him the world, even though it seemingly has been taken away from him right now. And chances are the weekend dads now want to be permanent dad. Edit 2, joint custody agreement or legal guardianship is on the table, just trying to get through cremating her and then focusing on paperwork to secure the child's future isn't changed or altered in any major way where he's living. Adopted dad and I are in agreement on this. Oh, that's good. This is where she wanted to be. This is where she wanted our son to be. And we are doing what we can to honor that. If you want to DM me or talk about this, I don't mind sharing more details. If you honestly want to help with the legal advice or guidance, then I'm all ears. I know I'm in a bad spot until the paperwork is signed, but we need to move quickly with school coming up. Um, this scares me a little bit because I know how people can be. Everything will be hunky dory 1 minute, and then something will happen, or in some cases, something doesn't even need something to happen, and everything changes, and they decide that they're the only ones. um, Edit 3. Thank you for everybody for responding so quickly and positively. Later tonight, after the little one I get home from its grandmother's, I will go and sit down and have a good try and answer everyone. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Edit 4, we're home. This post blew up and I feel a lot less lonely reading the comments. That's good. I've only gotten a little more than half, but I'll take some time to read the rest tonight. I'm doing my best in the morning to start replying. I have so much to say and so much more to share. So much grief to go through with all of you. Thank you. And then it's a little bit more, but Edit 5, it's now Monday afternoon. I've read almost every single post and thread here. Thank you to everyone. I'm finding it harder than I originally thought to get back to everyone and their suggestions and their stories. Honestly, I don't think people expect you to get back to them at any time, much less quickly. My heart breaks for all the sick people who are coming to my aid, and all of the grieving widowers, all the people who have any remote loss. You're all heard, you are all loved, and most of all, we all are loved. One who passed away can conduit to the physical world now. Okay, now it's getting all woo woo. Top right comment says, when my fiance died, I hiked the Appalachian Trail. Honestly, I don't think I'd be here right now if I hadn't. I'm so incredibly sorry for your loss. Yeah, you have to kind of get back. I know it's hard. It's really hard. I don't know what I'll do if my husband died before me. Queasy Warheart said, cry, take a shower, cry in the shower. Make something for you and the munchkin to eat. Let the kid cry and be angry. Brush your teeth, cry. Listen to some music and cry when a song reminds you of her. Sleep, cry some more. This is what I call wallowing. Wallow. Wallow in your grief. It's okay to wallow for a little while. If it lasts too long, then you need professional help, but it's okay to wallow. I think it helps you get over things. People ask how you are, tell them it sucks and cry. I'm sorry, you'll never be the same, but that isn't bad, just different. At some point, you'll wake, brush your teeth, and get ready for the day, and then cry. Another point, you'll make lunch before you cry. One day, the entire day will go by before you cry. Then you'll remember her and you won't cry, and you'll smell her shampoo or perfume. It's lots of tiny steps, lots of tears and anger and frustration, and it's not a straight line. It'll take 5 steps forward and then take 2 back sometimes. Eventually, you'll feel like yourself, get some therapy. Understand they want you to take meds, take them if you want to. They can help get the feeling of tidal wave crushing you is less, but it won't take away your grief. You have to work through it. It sucks. I'm sorry. I know that is the worst part. Is over, though it doesn't feel that way. Okay. Some kind of ships in the ocean analogy. I don't think we're going to go there. I'm not sure I can handle it. West Coast hydrosis. I'm at 3 months of it. Didn't go through the intensity you have. You got a lot happening right now. Give yourself some grace. You've got a 7-year-old to keep moving forward also. And the 7-year-old might get over it faster than the dad. I mean, you knew this was coming. It's not a shock. It's not like someone died in an accident and you didn't see it coming. So that makes it a little easier. Harder on the person who passed away, but a little easier on you since you knew it was coming. It's not, it didn't hit you like a ton of bricks all at once. Some days are actually going to suck, I won't lie. Some days are going to be pretty good, and then you'll feel guilty for having a good day. Find some professional to talk to if you can, but I'm finally at the stage where I think I'm ready for help. Believe she was grateful for everything you did together. I'm sure she was. Knowing that she's not suffering any longer, that's a good thing. You do heal eventually. I'd say give it some time. If you feel like you're on an even keel and can keep going without the professional help, you don't have to have it. But if you get like 6 months out and you're still wallowing, that's bad. That's bad, and you should seek professional help. Next, we have Evil Buildings, and this is entitled Mad Sorcerer's Tower in Abensburg, Germany. I don't know. Does this look evil to you? Because to me, it looks whimsical, and whimsical is not evil. I don't think it's evil, but that's my own opinion. Feral Force Witch says, I think this is delightful, but you're a witch, so what do you know? Just kidding. Dennis St. Juke says, this is the first time I've seen someone call a Hundertwasser building evil looking. I remember he was directly inspired to do the polar opposite of the angular gray, oppressive architecture and art he saw as a child during the 30s and 40s. I think he once said something like, for me, this square is the shape of marching soldiers. Calling them ugly, yes, I've heard that, and I can understand, but I think these buildings go out of their way, sometimes literally, to avoid looking somehow threatening or oppressive. Geometric Pelicans, this isn't at a theme park. And St. Duke says, most of his buildings are functional, a train station, a school, a row of houses. This is part of a brewery, though the tower itself is decorative. This is a waste incinerator slash power plant that he did. I mean, if you have to have a power plant waste incinerator, that's how to do it. At least it's cute, right? I think I like this guy. I might have to. I don't know why. Yeah, it's not evil. Not evil a bit. It's whimsical. It's rather lovely. Next, we have malicious compliance. You want romance book recommendations? I'll give you a few. I was reading in my usual coffee shop. A couple of girls at the table asked me what I was reading. Annoying, yes, since I'm trying to read. But we got into chatting about books, and I mentioned the book I'm reading has queer characters. One of them made some not so nice comments about the LGBTQ community, and then asked for some recommendations. So every book I recommended had a queer character, queer romance, even if it's subplot or tangential. You wouldn't necessarily guess it's queer based on the title alone. Will she read them? Probably not. Will she waste her time looking them up? I hope so. So, Starving Saints, Luminous Death by Caitlin Starling. Entire Black Magician series by Trudy Canavan. Paleontologist by Luke Dumas. Horror adjacent because it has ghosts. It has a male gay character or gay romance. Book in question was Heads Will Roll by Joss Winning. Female, Clark, female. Main character. I actually reply to him. Yeah, I heard much, right? Oh, it's hard iron. Dang it. Glad I checked before I sent that. All right. Next is AITAH, and it is entitled WIBTAH for asking my colleague to stop using my desk as his hot desk when I'm absent. What? I work in an open floor plan office, but we all have our own spaces. They personalize. Some of us have got plants, little trinkets, memes, pictures of family. You get it. We know where we all live around here. However, for the people coming in to work from other sites, we have several designated hot desks available. This guy has always used my desk as his hot desk if I'm away. He uses my equipment and leaves the desk at a different height, usually standing. It's annoying as weighing, and I've caught him there a few times as if I've come in late from a meeting. He's just assumed I'm away, so he's set up shop. It's been pretty obvious in the past how irritated I am having to wait for him to get his crap to go to an actual hot desk literally 3 meters away. That is unacceptable. That is somebody's desk, and it is not your place to set up your temporary workstation. There are places for that. Go use them. Now I'm back from maternity leave, so I got all my cutie faves photos of my and my kid tacked up around my space. I like seeing his face, and it brightens my day. Obviously, you're the mama. Today I come back to my office after attending a work event, and he'd been hot desking in my space again. He moved before I got back, and he was sitting in an actual hot desk, but he had left my desk at standing height, and all my crap was moved. You guys want the weighing. Am I being unreasonable wanting this guy to stop sitting at my desk? No, not at all. Now I've got photos of my baby and me right there. Does he just work there with photos of me and my baby smiling at him? I'd like to work at my space thinking it's just mine, but I feel like this guy's this to anybody else's bloody desk, just mine. And see, I've gotten me and my baby's face there. WIBTAH. If I tell him to stop using my desk as a secret personal hot desk, no, you should have already done this. No, you should tell him first. Or do I just FYI my manager that it's happening and get him to talk to a desk jockey's team leader, delegate the delivery? No, you should ask him first. You should mention it to him first. Please stop using my desk. That's my desk, has my stuff there. That's my desk. You can use these desks over here. You know they're here. You obviously know they're here because you're using one right now. Edit. I'm awake. Sorry, I got a baby and went to bed. I was sending an email next week to tell this guy not to use my GD desk. If he gets bent out of shape, I'll escalate. That's the way to do it. Final edit. Bumped to my manager en route to the office this morning and gave a heads up I was going to email this guy to quit using my space as hot desk. Manager said they'll sort it out with the wider team first, and then I'm going to still email the guy directly after the general message. So there's no misinterpretation or room for error. I'm still going to make My desk. Okay, happy Pride, everyone. Oh, it's even. No, this was literally in July. It was at the end of August. I don't know. Maybe we got the update one. No, it not is a top rating comment and is entitled NTA TBH. If I were you, I'd tell your manager it's a little weird that he only does this to your desk. Lucky Pen says, yeah, from what he said, I think he fancies you and likes being in your space, or the opposite. He really dislikes you and likes to upset you. Opie says, I'm a very out and queer lesbian, working in a very open environment with quite a few queer and trans colleagues, so this isn't it. Bro, is this guy smoker around my age? And he's just being a douchebag. I hope it's better for my sanity that he just a dickhead, not a creep with a really weird crush on a lesbian mom. I absolutely do not have time for that. No, nobody got time for that, hon. Kiwi Muzz says, NTA, this is your designated desk and not a hot desk. Time to escalate this. Is he deliberately doing this knowingly, knowing it's annoying to you and knowing there's already a hot desk available he can use? Worldly Mite says, get a few coworkers to start dropping off your work for him to do. Call him your name, ask how you're paying. Says he likes to play pretend being you. Get them to make it known that they all think he's a winging you weirdo for using his space. That's amazing. Yeah, do that one. I like that one. Second top rated comment is from No It Not. Oh no. Sorry, we're going. That wasn't the way I want. Okay. Third top rated comment is from Is It Worth It? NTA, it's your personal space, so you should respect that he's invading your privacy. And she says, oh yeah. She says, yes, that's exactly how I feel. She says, why haven't she had something sooner? He says, for the last few years, I've been either trying to get pregnant, being pregnant, or getting over being pregnant. But now I'm winging unstoppable. I'm going to set up a meeting with my manager to get him out of my space. I would like an update. Just saying. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled Always with the Parking. Always with the parking. Condo owner here. My unit is actively up for sale. There's a woman in her 50s that has a habit over the course of the last 15 years that will park on my spot at her convenience. All owners in our condominium building has one deeded designated parking spot. Mine happens to be near her patio entry. I'm an RN, and every time I see her in my spot when I get home for my 12-hour shift, I'm filled with dread and frustration. I have to idle in the lot and go out and ask her to move. It always ends with her cursing me and calling me and my son filthy names. So stop doing that. Stop doing that. Why have you done this for 15 freaking years? Call a tow truck. She refuses to move it, so I take a photo and send it to the HOA. I'm sick of parking on the street and walking home. She's just miserable. Even worse when she gets the bill, fines for parking my spot. From the HOA, she has her adult daughter confront me by standing out on the sidewalk, waiting for me to get home, giving me 101 different excuses why her mother parked in my spot for 2 waning seconds. Listen, I asked her to move and she didn't. I'm not in the business of teaching grown women how to act. Anyway, she's getting another bill today. I'd love to see some creative responses for when I get home, because believe me, they will be wearing a hole in the concrete waiting for me to pull in. Update, before I even left for work, I saw the neighbor's friend ringing my bell. I text my college son to watch my location as I pull in, be at my parking spot with his phone filming. He was. The neighbor had her friend walking up to me, and I put my hand up and said, I tell her to stay out of my spot and we won't have problems. Use vulgar language and call me names when I ask you to vacate. We will have problems. She starts saying her husband is sick, etc., etc. I said, again, same phrase as before. I'm not in the business of telling grown women how to act. Do not speak to me and step back, because if you don't, I'll call the police. And man, do I mean it. She went inside. Thank me for your input. There's a lot of great suggestions, and I appreciate them. Update number 2. Son's girlfriend parked in the visitor spot while visiting him tonight, and he walked out to her car, and the neighbor with the fresh new $250 fine confronted him on the sidewalk and said, "I'm telling the HOH you can't park there." I just called the police and asked if there's anything I can do about her stopping us, and they said to document, and he will too. And don't hesitate to call every time, so I will. Oogie Monster says the HOA should be getting her towed. Record them when they yell at you. Pester the board until they actually do something. Unacceptable that your board isn't elevating this. And they thanked people for the award. OP says I couldn't agree more. Trady says OP had a similar issue at my last place where people would block my garage. I just called the tow truck company directly. The number is usually listed on the sign to post in your lot. It's time to bypass the HOA. Yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Get it towed. I have no idea what that's supposed to say. Yeah. I think the threes are supposed to be E's, but I still don't know. If you put E's in there, I still don't know what it's supposed to say. This time, if you see them waiting for you, call the non-emergency number and ask for an officer to swing by regarding a repeated harassment. You need to escalate this, or they will just continue. Maybe follow it up with a temporary restraining order if they are that rude and aggressive. You don't have to take their constant verbal abuse. And your HOA should be standing up for you, not just finding them, but also warning them about confronting you and threatening you. And she says she'll do that. Capital Lifeguard says, there's no way to deal with such an entitled person. Even worse when she won't move and asked, then her daughter has to curse at you. Just to give yourself relief from constantly dealing with this BS, you can ask the HOA for a different parking spot. I know it seems like rewarding this but if it saves you from dealing with it, it could mean your peace of mind. Alternately, have her car towed every time you find her in your spot. Don't ask her to move. She's not just parking for a few seconds. She's belligerent and doesn't deserve your respect. Celia Lay says, for real, just tow it. Some people only learn the hard way. Yeah, and it'll cost her more than $250. Shouldn't she have her own spot? She has her own deeded spot to park in. Why does she need someone else's? She have too many cars? Is that the issue? Next up, we have benign existence and is entitled she doesn't speak. I was waiting for a flight at the airport when someone came over to speak to two women who were sitting next to me. The guy said he was escorting a woman to her gate but needed someone else to assure she successfully got on the plane. She didn't speak English and he didn't think she spoke at all. Two women said sure, offering the older woman a seat. After the guy was gone, one of the women said Espanol, and the supposedly mute woman immediately opened up in Spanish. Less than 10 minutes later, the three were all talking like good old friends, and they all boarded together. That's nice. That's lovely. Why couldn't you just use an app, a translation app? I mean, Google's free. I love that. That's great. Next, we have Volcano Satan. On April, let me give you that's a meme. Let me put the meme up for you. On April Fool's Day in 1974, an Alaska man hauled 70 old tires to a dormant volcano and set them on fire and convinced an entire family that the volcano was erupting. I'm sorry, that's great. I don't approve of tire burning, but that's great. A thick black smoke rising from Mount Edgecombe, a volcano that had been dormant for thousands of years. Many feared the volcano would suddenly come back to life, and emergency calls quickly poured into local authorities. And that can happen. Just because a volcano has been dormant doesn't mean it will forever be dormant. But the eruption wasn't natural at all. It was the work of a local prankster, Oliver Porky Bickert, who had spent several years planning what would become one of the most famous April Fool's Day hoaxes in history. After collecting around 70 old tires, he hired a helicopter to carry them to the volcano's crater. Once there, he soaked them with fuel and set them ablaze, creating a massive smoke plume visible across the region. And if you've ever seen tires on fire, you know. As concerned threat spread throughout the town, the Coast Guard dispatched a helicopter to inspect the volcano. When the pilot flew over the crater, he discovered the truth. A pile of burning tires and giant letters painted in the snow that read April Fool. Instead of being remembered as a disaster, the prank became legendary and is still celebrated today as one of the most creative April Fool's jokes ever carried out. That's great. I love it. El Dictator says, I respect the Satan's dedication. Forbidden Freedom says, this man either did not care about consequences or didn't plan to get found out. I could see a lot of civil liability for all sorts of unnecessary stress and mental strain, as well as a bill for the helicopter. All this to say that crap was a really expensive joke. Yeah, but in the 70s, didn't care. 70s were a different time. Creator says this was in the 70s and we weren't such a sensitive nation. Yeah, exactly. Daddy's a bad girl says, you're talking about a decade where women could get fired for wearing pants. I travel the world says they can still be fired for wearing pants nowadays, and men can be fired for wearing shorts. Somebody says we wear short shorts. That is a 70s reference right there. Toki Warhol says, fun fact, as of 2022, Mount Edgecombe has been reclassified as active. Oh, wow. Somebody wanted to know how it got its name, and Dane Alaska Cruise says, I like a lot of places in Alaska named by Captain James Cook. It's named after George, the Earl of Edgecombe. Edgecombe in Devonshire means valley. And combe belonging to a man named Edge. Or combe belonging to a man named Edge. No Diving Allowed says, well, it's like they always say, where there's smoke, there's tire. Sarah Cartwheel says, r/ I think you should leave, and r/ thanks, Dad. Non-diving allowed answers her back. Me too, me too. I liked it. It was a good dad joke. Next, we have Just No Mill, entitled No More Guest Room. Mother-in-law has been a terror since baby was born about a year ago. Husband kept insisting that Mill stay in our guest room to help me after the delivery, but I wasn't ready and I didn't want her around during the most vulnerable time of my life. We kept going back and forth, keeping the guest room or removing it. Your husband is a problem. I would never. I couldn't stand hosting anyone overnight after becoming a mother, especially since all of our family is somewhat nearby. Mother-in-law is farthest around an hour and a half, give or take. Overnight stays were not necessary, in my opinion, and finally agreed to remove the guest room bed and convert the room into a playroom. I'm ecstatic at the thought of never having to host anyone over again tonight. That also means that you don't want to host your kids when they grow up, eh? I think that not having a guest room is a little much, but whatever floats your boat. Next, we have infuriating and is entitled This Rejection Email. It's an application for some position that they won't tell you. Kind of rude. Thank you for applying to ABC Company. Unfortunately, you will not be moving forward with your application at this time. And there's a thing in brackets that says rejection message. Write a warm but generic rejection email. Sounds polite yet firm. Don't mention specific reasons for rejection. Make sure the candidate feels like they were strongly considered, even if they weren't. Remember to use candidate name and company name variables. I appreciate your interest in ABC Company and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Warmest regard, ABC Company team. She says, I don't know if it was she. They say, I'm not even worth a rejection message. Um, Brian Thing says, I don't know why people hide company names, name them and shame them. Exactly. So she might. Oh, that's why we haven't had any infuriating, because it's been banned for 6 months. Wow. The entire mod team was also removed and banned. We don't want that happening again. Thank you for reading the rules. Somebody says name and shame the previous mods team. Well, they're not here anymore, so. Caroline Johnson's quotes do not mention specific reasons for rejection. Yeah, how will I improve that? How do I improve that part so I don't get rejected next time if you don't tell me what it is? Opie says, yeah, like what gives? I think that when they asked me if you could be any fruit, what would you be? And then followed it up with a, why do you think we're asking that question? I answered with some blunt answers. Probably done it though. Why would they ask you what fruit you be? I'm not a fruit. I'm a human. Sorry. I'm not answering that. And yeah, that would probably not get me higher. Burn away smoke. I'll send that to a higher up corporate, see if you can find their contact info. They should know their HE employee works at their job, sucks at their job. I do tend to take the petty route when possible, though. OP says, plot twist, I ended up taking the email sender's job. Yeah, that could happen. Next we have I Am the Jerk, or Am I the Jerk, sorry. Am I the Jerk, entitled, Am I the Jerk for yelling at my aunt for trying to take my monitor? This all happened one day when my cousin and her mom, aka the aunt in this case, was over at my house so me and my cousin could hang out, as we've not seen each other in a while. About 3 hours after they arrived at my house, I showed my cousin the new monitor I'd gotten. She's an 8-year-old girl, so she understands things and isn't just going to ask for it and cry over stuff needed for content. My aunt, however, said I should give my new monitor to my cousin instead. No, absolutely not. What the heck are you thinking? As she only has a small PC and a small monitor at her house, and that I already have my old one, so I should give her the new one. If anything, you're getting the old one, if you get anything. And now that you've asked for it, you're not getting nothing. I politely declined, as I had gotten this as a gift and it was mine. She got really mad and upset for no reason, and my cousin was standing on the side of the living room looking embarrassed. My parents were in another room and didn't hear what was going on. My aunt started yelling at me to give it to my cousin. My mom came downstairs after hearing her yelling and asked what was going on. I told my mom that she's forcing me to give up my new monitor to my cousin, who was still looking embarrassed off to the side. My mother told them to leave and said my cousin could stay and that my aunt would have to pick her up later. Am I the jerk? No, why would you be the jerk? Why would you even think you were? This is just rage bait. Wiser Than I Look is the top right comment, and she says, NTJ, remember to hug your mom. She's a boss. Us moms like that. Anna says, she shut that down so fast, no hesitation. I'd love to see it. That's how it should be done, moms. That's how it should be done. Absolutely not. You're not taking my kid's new monitor. You're not even taking the old one, because now that he's got to, and you'll just have to deal. Next split says, Opie's mom is a rock star. Oh my, look at the valuable lesson aunt is teaching her child. An entire aunt who has no shame. I bet she felt wronged and held a grudge against OP and her mom. Since it happened a year ago, let's hope aunt is better behaved and cousin is satisfied with what she has. OP says, my cousin loves the stuff she has and is not greedy or entitled at all, actually. We sometimes talk and call on our phones when we can't see each other. I'm in another state. Soggy Motor says, NTA your mom grand a crackhead. Successful moment answered, maybe she wants to sell the monitor for drugs. Exactly. That was exactly what that was about. Next, we have expectation versus reality. What they asked for versus what I gave them. This is what was asked for. It's lovely. I love it. Just for a little dancer girl. That'd be so cute. You imagine a little dancer girl getting that for her birthday? Oh my, that is amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. Love it. Love it when plan comes together. So I've outdone myself. Floofy Samoyed says you are correct. Those peachier tones are so much prettier than the inspo pic. Yeah, they are. The other one's too pink. Peach is nicer. Kimmy says the peach tones definitely elevated, but also really like the higher level of contrast in the accent colors. It creates more nuance. Yeah, I agree. It's lovely. It's just lovely. The person says amazing. Whatever the flavor, what flavor is the cake and what's frosting? It's vanilla ABC cake. It's funfetti birthday cake. Regular vanilla ABC. I don't know what that means. Funfetti birthday cake for a 2-year-old. For a 2-year-old. Oh, any 2-year-old's gonna love that. Dive right in. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 3 times a week. As I said before, today it will be today, tomorrow, and Friday for this week. Please tell everyone you know. I would like somebody to join me. Like all of the peoples to join me. This is our real estate, and it's entitled Open Catwalk, Green Carpet, Brick Fire, Gas Place, Sauna Space for Your Canoes, $480,000. It's in Ishpeming, Michigan. Ishpeming, Michigan. And yes, that's how you pronounce it. Ishpeming. Ishpeming. So that seems to be the outside of the entrance. What is this? Yeah. That is some green carpet. I do not like. I like the wood panel and everything. Fireplace is perfectly fine. Do not like the green carpet at all. That is ugly. Ugly. Those chairs are a choice. Oh my goodness. How do you even sit in them? I would not be able to get out. I would not be able to get out. You'd have to come and pull me out of that chair. Oh my goodness, it's so high. And the butt is so low. I can't even. I do like the setup of that. I don't like that green carpet. It ruins everything. Well, that's nice. And they all open? Nice. I like being open window. And it's not too hot outside. Right now, it is 83 degrees, and so it's too hot outside. You have to at least resurface those cabinets, all of them. That's terrible. Why would you have not already done that? Looks like it has lower under the cabinet lighting, but it's like terrible. Like, clean that up. Oh my goodness. That's better. Still not great, but better. I want under cabinet lighting really badly. It has a tiny kitchen. Back to weird chairs in the dining area. That's nice. Another fireplace. Looks like it was not original. Some of this may not be original to the house. Gotta love those AI fires. Why are we cluttering it with the AI crap? You get up there. I'm so confused. Did I have another angle of that? Because I'm so confused. Oh, that's nice. That's what a fireplace needs to be. Right there. Why is there a door? I just had this as a closed. Oh, I can't even. Somebody did some updating in this house for sure. They were not thinking. Oh, this is a bedroom because they put bedroom furniture in it. Another bedroom with a bath. Another bedroom with a different bath. I didn't look at the stats on it. It's 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, 3,300 square feet for $470,000. Laundry room. That's nice. It's a decent size. Okay, that's weird. I like how they don't have any real pictures of that area, of how the steps actually are there. That's a red flag. Where's my red flag? Red flag on this house. Another bedroom. Another bathroom. Yet another bedroom. There are like 5 bedrooms, so there's your AI. Furniture. Back to the beginning. No, it's not. Very modernish look, temporary looking. Is the fence like for the garden or is that your property line? Property lines are approximate. Let's do the recreation center, which is nice. The area, which is nice. Okay. It says measurements are highly reliable but not guaranteed. There's no measurements. You got your living room, laundry, walk-in closet, and a bath. Is that in the basement? I'm not sure. Oh no, this is up. This says it's open to below, so that must be the first. Everything's on the second floor. Kitchen, dining room, family room, bedroom, primary bedroom. What's not the kitchen in the other room? Oh, it's laundry. Never mind. Don't talk. Don't look. Primary bedroom, primary bath. How come the primary bedroom doesn't look any bigger than the other bedroom? There's a full bath. There's no half bath. I don't like that. And then one, two, 3 bedrooms up here plus media room. This is your catwalk thing. Yeah, this is why they don't show that area because this is not a comfortable staircase to use. Very retrofitted into there. And then garage, you have a sauna and a workshop on the second floor. Interesting. So this was a caning house designed by Wilson Etling Architects in Chicago. Built in 1974. It's on 0.4 acres ish. Offered on the open market for the first time since it was commissioned in 1963. Oh, wow. So these people have lived there their entire lives. Completed in 1964, the home was purchased directly from the original owners in 2021. The private sale has never been publicly offered. 20 minutes from downtown Marquette, so it is way up there. You're going to get lots of snow. Lots and lots and lots of snow. Looks like they haven't. I mean, it looks like they've updated it, and yeah, it looks like they haven't at all at the same time. 2-story detached garage includes a heated upper level workshop and a traditional sauna. Space for hobbies, project storage, or outdoor gear. The owners have made significant investments to preserve the home's architectural integrity while improving long-term performance, but they need to change the kitchen. Look really bad. Look really bad. Several bedrooms and bathrooms have been tastefully updated while respecting the home's original design. It's an important piece of Upper Peninsula historical architectural history. Mid-century modern residence. Except for that kitchen. Holy cow. I would definitely want to update that kitchen. There's some things you just have to update. I'm sorry. You can't keep them the original. The original was not made with good materials. Appliances include dishwasher, dryer, range oven, refrigerator, washer, gas, water heater, laundry, first floor laundry. I don't think that island was probably not in the kitchen originally because that wasn't a thing back then. I don't think. I mean, they could have been ahead of their time, I guess. What is the taxes? Taxes are probably really low. Property taxes are $477 a year. I wonder if that's updated because in Michigan, we have this thing where they can only raise your property taxes so much, and if the property estimate goes up, property taxes don't necessarily hit that threshold. So if your property goes up $25,000, they can still only, on a $100,000 house, they can still only raise your property tax like I think it's 4% a year, something really low like that. So as your house appreciates in value, your taxes do not go up appreciatively necessarily. So you are not going to pay $477 of taxes on that property in Michigan. You're going to pay more than that because they will adjust it when it sells. When they sell, they adjust it. So yeah. They're putting that $477 in the liability payment. That is not going to fly. No, not going to fly at all. I guarantee you that's not accurate by any means. Oh, that's a payment. Never mind. Property taxes are $7,000. And see, now that seems high. Well, maybe that's because I've been in my house since 2008. And this house sold in 2025. So that's why. They don't even have property taxes before 2018. So that tells you all you need to know about that. Ocular Affair says you guys are nuts. This is incredible. It's ugly. I'm sorry. It's not. No. Somebody says they put in the same color carpet. Oh. This is all late 60s, early 70s. This is early 60s. I thought this was pretty much house at first. Music says I took one look and said groovy. Somebody else says they're singing on the catwalk, and I hate it because now it's stuck in my head. Buffering Joey says, I tried to show my 16-year-old the video for catwalk and was nearly incapacitated by the side eye I received. Laurel Canyoner says, I have an endlessly snarky 25-year-old, so I feel your pain. I think my kids have probably saw that when they were little. They're not much older than 25. Agitated Macaroon says, it is weird. I love this, especially the green carpet. I hate the green carpet. Hate it with a bloody passion. Oh my gosh. No. That carpet is ugly. Change my mind. It's ugly. Next we have Server Life, and it is entitled Refuse Service Threatened with a Lawsuit. So it's a 1-star review. It says, absolutely the worst. They are dangerous. They serve alcohol, but have several restaurants. What does that mean? I was judged and discriminated against. I was denied a glass of wine because they were watching the parking lot. When I accidentally ran over a curb, this bar is dangerous. Beware everyone who goes there to have a good few drinks. How is it dangerous if they refuse you service? You better have a taxi or Uber or a lawyer. I was innocent and had no drinks, but they judged me. Shame on them. I am considering a lawsuit. Well, good luck with that. They need to stop on serving alcohol and make a church cafeteria. I was innocent, totally sober, and they denied me a glass of wine. How did they know you're totally sober? You ran over a curb bad enough that they noticed. I would never step foot in that place again, warning all drinkers they will call the cops on you. Literally watched her hop over 2 curbs and park between 2 spots. Obviously refused her alcohol as she threatens to sue us. I'm very aware she has no grounds for a suit since we can refuse service for whatever, but thought you would get a little giggle out of this one. Blacked out the name of my bar. Buster says, I can't imagine anyone reading that and not citing the restaurant. 100%. I am the restaury lion. No drinky poo for you, Miss Dildo. Trash Ascent Transcend says, can we please make restaury lion a flare? Oh. Oh, she meant to say restrictions. Restaury lion is awesome, though. I want restaury lion as a flare. Papa says, didn't even sober up before writing this. And Ham Brown answers, my first thought, I can smell the boost at the screen. I am considering a lawsuit. Fargo Chuck says, easiest $500 consultation until they're going for. Yeah, somebody else said that lawyers will usually give you the consult for free, and that is true. DC Dish's average alcoholic behavior. True. Next we have confession. It is entitled, I threw away my neighbor's DMV driver's license because she used my address. Well, yeah. A little bit of background to make me feel less bad. I've been managing bills and paperwork after my husband's death in December. I'm signed up with the service through USPS where they email you images of your incoming mail. I saw a large mailer from the DMV and I thought it was something that I had been expecting in regards to my late husband. To my shock, it was a license belonging to who knows. I do get mail every once in a while for this person, and I thought it was a previous owner still getting mail. After some sleuthing and looking through my notes from when I first moved in, I realized last name matches my neighbor's, but it's not his or her first name. My neighbors are nice people that they have a lot of extended family that comes and goes. This doesn't bother me at all. Her using mistakenly probably my address on her DMV license does not bother me greatly. I should have walked the mail over and asked my neighbor that she have her family member update her address. I did not. I straight chucked that thing in the garbage, along with a few mail in regards to her car insurance. So I don't blame you. Like, you don't got time for that. I still get mail from my previous, from the previous owners, occupiers of the house. Did I mention I've been here since '08? Because I think I mentioned that just a little while ago. Oh, wait. I still get mail. It's less bills now, less bills and insurance, but I start chucking that like 5 years after. And I know, or I can get it to them if I want to. I just don't want to bother with it. I mean, it's not necessarily their fault. We've had bills going to our old address. Keep in mind, we moved here in '08 because the insurance changed our address back to the old address for some reason, like 3 years ago. Like, why would you do that? It's dumb. We've had that insurance for a while. We did not have that insurance in that house ever. I don't know. I don't even know how it would have happened. This is health insurance or doctor bills and stuff like that. Jada Dad says, honestly, I would let the DMV know insurance and everyone else important that might need your address. I would contact the post office too, not until you've contacted everyone else, just in case something gets mailed to you that requires your attention. I feel this is a form of identity theft, and I hope you reconsider reporting this. OP says when her ID doesn't show up in the mail, she will call. They will verify her address, and either I will receive another ID or she will realize her mistake. It's definitely insurance fraud at the very least because this is not my neighbor, but she shares their last name. Jaded says it's identity theft. It's not. That's not identity theft. They're not pretending to be you. They're just using your address. Twino says, I would have told him not to use my address. Maybe it was a typo. If no typo, report to the U.S. Postal Inspector. That's what I did when a neighbor used my address. Jane Dorami says, also check your credit records. Maybe there's more going on. Make sure this name doesn't get associated with you. Yeah, that for sure. Mojo says, I take it to the DMV and report it. I don't know. I shook it. This is interesting as Wang AF. I got that's a bison people. A tourist was seriously injured after a bison tossed him 8 feet into the air. So be warned, this might be a little disturbing for some viewers. Don't mess with the bison. They're big and mean. They're a little too close, honestly. Tangled with a tree? Why aren't you getting away from him? Why are you standing there like a moron? Oh, that hurt. That had to hurt. That had to hurt. I remember seeing this when it happened. Seems like it was longer ago than last month. So there's an art. Somebody posted an article. It says it seems the bison had already charged some kids, which is why our cameraman was recording. The victim happened to walk by unaware of that, though. Yeah, that guy did nothing wrong. He wasn't teasing them. He wasn't teasing the bison or anything like that. When the older man hit the ground, the bison stopped but didn't run away. It stood over the man. He just tossed, shaking his head in an obvious display of agitation. That's when McLeod decided he had to do something. I had to get the bison's attention. I was really afraid he was going to gore the guy on the ground, so I stopped videotaping and ran to the bison, yelling loud, and was trying to be as big as intimidating as possible. Following McLeod's lead, a few other observers did the same and darted toward the bison. That was enough to send it running. He really took off when he left, McLeod said. Yellowstone EMS quickly arrived and took over. McLeod has been in touch with the victim's grandson, who told him that his grandfather has some pretty significant injuries and is not out of the woods yet. He's really worried and wanted to see the video to make sure it wasn't his fault. It wasn't. You can tell by the video it's not his fault. You can tell from the very beginning. Poor dude, he looks like my dad, and I can imagine how sad and mad I would feel. Accomplished Run says, guy definitely got eaten like a rag doll. Hopefully he recovers soon. Didn't think he did anything wrong either. I don't think he did anything wrong. Anything. He just took a picture. Other than not running away when the bison was tangled up in the tree. That's what I would take. Go jump in a car, any available car. From the article, the biological explanation for what happened is annual bison rut, which runs from June to September. During that time, bison surge with energy and aggression as they compete for dominance in females. Well, they don't need to compete with dominance for us. We're little tiny things. Feel danger is the second time very common. They say, I feel for that old guy. He's probably really, really, really badly hurt. Wise Death says, yeah, the dude looked 65 plus. I wouldn't take much. Eli's mom says, yeah, he definitely broke some stuff for Grandpa. I hope he recovered. I hope he recovers too. Atomic Bunny says, having seen a few Too Close in the Wild videos here on Reddit, I would have thought there'd be a distant distance. Turns out the safest distance is how far my computer is from the nearest bison. Here is how far you should stay away from wildlife. Wrong. Right. The bear's way back here. Wrong. Right. Way back there. Wrong. Good luck. Shouldn't have been waiting. Keep wildlife wild. I had to look through the whole thing, obviously. It's great. I approve this message. Lopsided Dad said, I waved all the way from Texas, and now I'm afraid it's on its way. Somebody posted the meme like from Jurassic Park with water, glass of water, and it's like moving, because the dinosaurs are coming. Next we have Emma the A-hole. Emma the A-hole. AITA for taking my friends no at face value instead of insisting. No. No means no. Even the people who say no need to learn this. I, 25 male, close friend, 24 female, has been dealing with a lot of stress lately. Nothing life-threatening, but enough that she's been skipping meals, isolating herself, and generally not taking care of herself. That's really sad. One evening, we were hanging out, and I noticed she hadn't eaten all day. I offered to order her food. She says, I'm not hungry. So I asked again a few minutes later because she hadn't eaten, same answer, so I dropped it. Later that night, she texted saying she was upset. She said I should have known she didn't actually mean no, and that a friend would have insisted ordering food anyway, or at least keep trying because she was clearly struggling. I can't even. Stop it. I told her I care about her, but I also believe that adults should be able to say what they mean. If someone tells me no twice, I'm going to respect that answer. I don't think it's my place to override somebody's decision because I think I know better. She argued that when people are emotionally overwhelmed, they sometimes need someone to push through their resistance. Okay, I'm not that person. Find somebody else to push you through your dumb resistance. I said that expecting people to read your mind isn't fair. If you want help, tell me. I'll gladly help. But I can't guess which no actually means yes. Now, a few mutual friends think I was too detached. I should have recognized her need of support, even if she wasn't asking for it. No, she wasn't asking for it. You offered it, and she still said no. AITA for respecting what she said instead of insisting. No, absolutely not. You did nothing wrong. She's dumb. Regular Boot says NTA, adults use their words. Your friend is acting like a child. She's also trying to manipulate you. Exactly. There was a comment removed by the moderator. I don't know why they do that on threads like this. Ice Seeker says she doesn't seem to like OP either and is stirring up drama for some reason. Imagine trying to blame your friend for not being too pushy enough. If OP insisted she'd snap, then it would be on OP for not respecting her. No. Well, Crystal is the second top rated comment. She says, NTA, she can use her big girl words. No means no. Beneficial year one says, some situation not taking no for an answer can get you arrested. OP is NTA. Exactly. Halo says, no means no, except in some situation when it's accidentally death, and no, I'm not going to tell you which situations are which. Good luck. That was, of course, a quote. Columbologist says, or quotes, she argued that when people are emotionally overwhelmed, they sometimes need someone to push through their resistance. She says, horse crap. The fact that she could explain this to you afterwards either means she knew that at the time that she wanted food and refused for the drama, or that she didn't want food and is now hungry and trying to blame her own dumb mistake on you. If she's now hungry, she can order her own food. There are apps for that. If you continue to push her in order to order something, she would have given you crap for not respecting her boundaries. She set things up so no matter which wire you tripped, she'd be there to get her feelings hurt. NTA, exactly. Platypus and Pibble says, you're exactly right. Friend doesn't want help. She wants to be a martyr. Next is I Don't Work Here Lady, entitled I Don't Work Here, I'm literally 12. Years ago, I went to music lessons in a store where they requested students wear a lanyard with student and the name of your instrument on it. I was 12, and for context, I was frequently mistaken for being 10. I was small for my age and had chubby cheeks and braces. I was hanging around the store after my lesson, waiting for my ride, when this older couple walked up to me. The man asked me if I could get a guitar down off the wall for him. I said sure, because I absolutely love being helpful. He points to the uppermost row, and they have a forbidden rolling orange stairs like at Home Depot right next to where he's pointing, and I told him I didn't think I was allowed to go up there. He became very upset with me and said he and his wife both demanding that I go get the guitar while I kept refusing, and calling me lazy and stupid for not doing my job and saying I should be fired. I'm also trying to tell them that I'm just a kid, but they insist that my lanyard is part of a uniform. Somehow they missed that stunning display of tween fashion that I had matched a Captain America shirt with a Hello Kitty skirt and yellow Crocs was my favorite outfit, which is not the uniform of anyone anywhere. This couple is still yelling at me, and I'm freaking out because I was always told to respect my elders. This is why you don't teach your kids that. You respect your elders until they're stupid, until they say something stupid, and then you don't have to respect them anymore. But they got me literally backed into a corner, and they won't believe what I'm telling them. So this employee heard the shouting, came over to see what was going on, and saw that Meemaw and Peepaw had cornered a kid, and he told them to back off and leave me alone. They tried to explain their side of the story, and he tried to tell them I was a child who didn't work there, which I don't think they fully believed. He offered to take down the guitar for them, which they accepted. I went outside to wait for my mom, and for every lesson from then on out, I would immediately go outside as soon as I finished. Poor kids did not deserve that. Cat Impossible says, shame on them. Also, because they are old doesn't mean they're entitled to your respect. From where I was raised, that is earned and should go both ways. If old man cusses me, I cuss the same energy right back at them. I think you give people respect until they do something to disrespectful. And then they have to earn respect back. But I do think you give everyone respect from the get-go. OP says that was around the time I realized I could question authority, but I was painfully shy at that age. Had I been a few years older, I definitely would have told him he could put that guitar. Good. OG Solara says, hell no, I would have kicked him right out with the sword for pulling some of that crap. Even if you were an adult and an employee, don't back someone into a corner and start yelling at them. Exactly. Vegetable Road says, it's a very sucky thing to have happened to you. I'm old, 60, and I don't understand people of my age, plus or minus 5 years, and their behavior when it comes to shopping and employees. Exactly. Next, we have Overheard and is entitled MILF. I overheard my girlfriend talking to her brother on the phone while we were stuck in traffic. Girlfriend, you want a woman's opinion, Tom. So don't get upset at me for providing an opinion you don't like. Tom, I'm not upset. I'm just shocked. I didn't expect you to sound just like Mom. Girlfriend, you're comparing me to Mom when you're dating a wanging MILF? Tom, she's not a wanging MILF. She's just older. We're not dating yet. Girlfriend, Thomas. Tom, yes, Mom. Girlfriend, Tom. Girlfriend, Tom. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm listening. Girlfriend, call me Mom one more time, bro. Tom says, I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry, didn't I? Girlfriend, this woman graduated high school when you were born. Cool. Love that for her. You literally graduated high school last year. Vibes. Good for you. Cut to whatever the wang is happening between the two of you. Like, I'm in no position to judge this person, but it's giving grooming. Yeah, she's not kidding. Tom, it sounds bad when you break it down like this, but we're all adults, though. I actually think you'll like her. She teaches me things. Girlfriend, please stop. I know more than enough about your sex life already. I honestly don't want to hear more. Tom, it's nothing sexual. She told me how to overcome a gag reflex when I brush my teeth. Girlfriend, Tom, hello, girlfriend, Tom, hello, girlfriend. Change jobs, Tom. Stop sitting for these hoes. Stop house sitting for these hoes. Oh my god. Oh, it's hysterical. Sound gay too. Stand by. Because I could really, help him. Housewife mom says, I do want more Tom stories. Haha. Tom seems to have picked some of Giselle's chaos. OP says, Tom without braces, pimples, and around the clock parental supervision is feral as Wang, whereas Giselle is apparently a nun now. It's been a confusing year for my girlfriend who's always caught in the middle. Also, mom says, oh, yes, Tom is picking up where Giselle left off. The threesome unlocked new levels for him. Someone says, I missed the threesome post. Go, Tom. Oh, we might pick that up someday. I don't know. Muscle Thinny says the funniest part is him trying to defend it and accidentally making it sound worse every time with a skull emoji. No, says, what's Giselle's take on this? LP says, I didn't actually hear my girlfriend and Giselle talking about Tom, but according to my girlfriend, Giselle says he's Wang boy Tom's biggest fan. Giselle is such a vibe. Grumpy Cat Steven says, so she's living vicariously through Tom's escapades now that she's being a good girl. Thank goodness. Next, I have Cheer Off My Chest, and it is entitled, I Survived Cancer Only to Find That My Husband of 11 years Never Loved Me. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. I've been with my husband for 11 years now. We have 2 beautiful children. All this time, I always thought we were each other's soulmates and that nothing else could come between us. He helped me get through the worst time of my life when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, where he always assured me that we'll get through the whole ordeal together. I believed him as our family slowly got over my medical woes. However, I recently learned that all this time he was praying for the cancer to spread far enough to kill me. I discovered this all on my own after I found out he had a spare phone hidden under our bed when I was changing the sheets. It was an older keypad model and didn't even have the capability to install apps, I think. Something felt off, so I took it with me before confronting him. When I asked him about it, he denied it was even his, although he rushed upstairs looking for it. So I took the kids and went to my sister's house. We live in the same neighborhood. And started reading his text messages. The only number ever saved was the name of a fling he'd had before we got together. This woman went to the same high school as us. They reconnected about 5 years into our marriage, never stopped talking, despite her being in a relationship after I looked her up on Facebook. Typing and recalling all of this is making my heart ache over again. He told her that if the cancer ever comes back, they can finally be together. I kept scrolling down and realized they were secretly texting each other for about 5 years. My husband's always been stoic, and he's never been one to overtly show emotions and all that. And here he was texting her good morning and I love you messages. One of the texts, he blamed me for wasting a decade of his life. He also said the text that he only stuck with me because of our children. I'm thinking of beginning a divorce and it's looked down upon in our country. To make matters worse, he's been threatening me and accusing me of stealing the phone. And of all the worst, and the worst of it all is I have no idea how I'm going to break the news to my children. Dude, please, please get a divorce. Mood Up, though, says you beat cancer and now you have to grieve a marriage that was never what you thought it was. That's 2 losses back to back, and I don't think people understand how much harder the second one hits when you're already exhausted from fighting for your life. What are you going to do with the information now that you have it? We're going to read the second top area comment, even though I'm not going to like it. This sounds like the disappointment of a fictional story. If he ever had a burning passion for you, still you deserve to be loved by giving yourself to him and give to 2 children. It's not unusual for people to marry someone they like but not love. Then it's normal to learn to love their partner over time and be good for us. This is not his case. I don't know what to say, but you don't deserve this. Don't say that. That's terrible. Helpful Spring says, hello, tell everyone what you found and what he did and what he said. Maybe they will be more sympathetic. But be prepared with your facts and arguments if people still criticize you. It's either that or live with a man who would rather you be dead. He was hoping you would die so he wouldn't have to live as a divorcee. If I knew your culture, I might be able to give you better advice. Worried Progress says, just divorce him and use the messages as proof this emotional affair will be even more looked down upon. Helpful for says, oh, come on, he's sleeping with her, which is probably true. What do I do? Entitled, Never a Good Message to Receive. Hey girl, how have you been? Sorry to bother you. I just wanted to check. Do you have a boyfriend? If yes, what's his name? Caption, my brain rapid firing, and I'm praying that this isn't going to turn out like it usually does when you get this message. Dismal Researcher says, based on your other posts, I thought you were just friends until you begged him to take you back. He's obviously not interested, even if this text is exactly what it looks like. Delta says, unless they can say the name without you saying it, or they can't describe said person, they just want to start crap. Digital Uranium says, Opie should reply to the first letter and see if the other person confirms the name. Opie says, good idea. I just replied with, I don't really share details about my personal life with anonymous accounts. Who is this? Sorry if I haven't seen your comment sooner. Comprehensive Prophet said, should start with who is this and who is this about? Yeah, without the sorry. Rob Scottler says, hi, please tell us all your mess. We all want to hear the mess, that's for sure. Jazz Poet says, it's looking like that's what it is, girl. Well, he says, well, I'm in a situationship. We aren't together, but I still do relationship stuff. So you should say no and see what happens. No, I'm not. I don't have a boyfriend. I have a situationship, but not a boyfriend. Next, we have best of render updates. Next, we have best of render updates entitled, my husband spent over $3,000 on World Cup tickets. We can't afford this and I'm furious. This sounds familiar. This is originally an Off My Chest, so I think we may have read this one already. February 14th, 2026. I don't need advice about what to do. I just need to get this out because of how absolutely furious I am. I think we probably read this in March. My husband bought 3 tickets for the World Cup, and each one cost over $1,000. I have been furious since I found out. We absolutely cannot afford this, and my husband knows it, but he still bought them. I found out he entered the most recent lottery to get tickets. I have since found out that it was different from the previous lotteries. Instead of going online and buying tickets right when they went on sale, you had to submit a list of which games you wanted tickets for, and if you won lottery tickets, your credit card would be automatically get charged. Our credit card was charged on Monday. Normally, I get an alert whenever our card is used, but my husband deleted it from my phone before I saw it. I didn't see the charge until 2 days later, and I thought our card was compromised. I found out what the charge was, and I'm still going to dispute it because I absolutely can't afford it. I can't do that. I don't think. My husband already paid for it and confirmed he made the purchase, so the credit card company's not going to do anything on it. As long as he has authorization to use it, they are not going to reverse any charges on that. That people buy stuff they can't afford all the time on credit cards, all the time. He took the money from our emergency account, and we have less than $100 in our emergency account now. Our emergency fund was low because 2.5 years ago, my husband lost his job and he was out of work for a year. We had to dip into our emergency savings a bunch of times while he was unemployed. He knows what our financial situation is like, and I can't believe that he did this. Why has your emergency fund not revived itself in a year and a half? Like, you should be putting everything in there to get it back up to the level that it was. I assume you have a level that it needs to be at. If I didn't have some overtime shifts scheduled over the next 2 weeks, we would absolutely not be able to afford our next mortgage payment. I'm furious, and he says I'm overreacting. You're not overreacting, not by any means. He says he's taking his dad and his brother to the World Cup because both of their birthdays are on the same week as the game. But that doesn't mean we can afford to spend over $3,000. That's a lot of money to spend on other people's birthdays. Just saying. I don't even spend that on my husband's birthday, and he does not spend that on my birthday. My husband said at least the tickets didn't cost $1,500 each. And he also dropped a bomb on me. He's applied for tickets for every game that is being played in our city. And if he had won all the games instead of just one, the total cost would be over $12,000. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I asked my husband where he would have gotten that kind of money, and he just said we would figure it out. He tried telling me that Canada has a huge demand for World Cup tickets, so that's why it cost him over $1,000 per ticket, as if that's an explanation for what he did. You know, you could probably sell those tickets for $20,000 a piece. I can't even explain how furious I am. We have been going to marriage counseling because of how strained things got after my husband got fired, but that is not going to cut it anymore. I've always been the breadwinner in our marriage, and it's never bothered me, but now the stupid decision he made is the last straw. I tried to make it work, but I can't anymore. I'm going to get my ducks in a row and talk to a lawyer before I do anything with our finances. Smart. Then I'm done. He thinks I'm overreacting, that all of this is a big joke, and I'm done. I'm also going to turn off chats. I don't need to be called a doormat or other names. I'm not going to marriage counseling anymore. I'm leaving him, and I don't need to hear him spineless over it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with her being the breadwinner in the family, but he also shouldn't do stupid crap like with money like that. That's financially abusive. Relevant comments. Number one. So use your money and not even taking you. OP says, I don't want to follow soccer at all. Even if we could afford tickets, I wouldn't go to a game. I do understand your point, but a ticket would be wasted on me. I would just be bored the entire time. Commenter 2. So congratulations on your new and separate bank account to which she does not have access. She says she won't be doing that or anything related to her finances until I speak with the lawyer. You should, though. Honestly, you should. One of my friends went through a divorce, and her husband faced consequences in court for separating money and withdrawing financial support. I do not want that to happen to me. I'll only be following advice from my lawyer. Commenter 3. Sell the tickets on the secondary market. Make a loss into a win. Depending on the match, you can make 2 or 3 times. OP says, I don't have the tickets. My husband had them, and I have no idea how he'd even accessed them. Now he's telling me he transferred them either to his dad or his brother. He won't say which one because he doesn't want me to be able to ruin this for him. I'm done with him over this. I agree. You should be done. Have you talked to his brother or his dad about these tickets yet? Because that's what I would be doing. Commenter 4, tell his father about it. Oh, well, yeah, look at that. If not for anything but to cause some chaos before you leave. I'm not normally for this, but assuming his father isn't the reason the way he is, it might end up with your soon to be ex husband learning a real lesson, since this clearly isn't getting to him. Maybe you even end up with your money back and rid of the leash you lost in the first place. I hope he says his dad doesn't care, neither does his brother. Well, that's an issue. That's an issue you should have seen coming, to be honest. Commenter 5, I can support him now. If it were me, I'd be locking down finances, freezing credit, closing joint accounts, and stashing money in a new account for bank or credit union he knows nothing about. And I'd do it all quietly. You can take half the money and not get in trouble. As soon as he leaves for the game, I'd start packing his stuff so he can move into his dad or brothers. Financial infidelity is a trust destroyer. You definitely deserve uh, to work for you, not a spongy guy who shows you no respect or appreciation. You're clearly capable. I bet you'll be way better off by this time next year. Oh, he says the World Cup is in June or July. I'm not waiting to leave until then to leave. I'm leaving him now. I'm going to speak to a lawyer and get all my ducks in a row, and I want to find out what financial obligations I have towards him before we get divorced. My friend's husband got in trouble for withdrawal of financial support when he left. The court did not like that. He did that while they were still married. I don't want that to happen to me, so I need to talk to a lawyer before I do anything with the money. Well, then hurry up and get you a lawyer, girl. Also, I have to make plans to move because our condo is in both our names, and I already know I can't force him to leave if he doesn't want to. I will ask the lawyer how to go about that. Well, if you leave, he gets the condo. Possession is 9/10 of the law. You're gonna have to do some work to get the condo back if you leave. You make him leave. Commenter 6 says report it as fraud to your credit card company. You can't do that. OP says I did. The credit card company said it isn't fraud because my husband already made the payment and confirmed it was his purchase. I'm not giving up, but credit card company won't budge. Update July 2026, nearly 5 months later. Update my husband went. Okay, we already know that. I'm the person whose husband spent over $3,000 on World Cup tickets, leaving less than $100 in our emergency account. He tried to justify it by saying Canada had a huge demand for tickets and that why it cost over $1,000 per ticket. Meanwhile, if I had not done overtime shifts scheduled, we would not have been able to afford our next mortgage payment because the money in the emergency fund was all gone. The emergency fund already was low because of blah blah blah. I posted my update and my up 5 months ago, and my update is a small one. But I have left him as seeking a divorce. I moved out 4 months ago. We'd been going to marriage counseling because of how strained things have got after he got fired from his job for the second time during our marriage. But the World Cup tickets were the nail in the coffin. Before I moved out, he had the gall to complain to me about how we couldn't afford some of his favorites from the grocery store. If it wasn't for me working some overtime, we wouldn't have been able to buy any food at all. I have already hired a lawyer since there was no case for a default divorce. I have to be separated from him for a year in order to get the divorce. Although my lawyer said the only thing filing on fault ground it does is forego a 1 year waiting period. It doesn't affect the settlement or the division of assets. I may have to pay some spousal support since I was a higher income earner. That's a small price to pay for being rid of him. He doesn't want a divorce. He also asked me to stay and continue the marriage counseling. He still went to the game 3 months after I left and also telling me I should stay. Also, to address some things for my first divorce, his dad and brother did not care about him spending the emergency fund on the tickets. His dad and brother and his friends thought he was right. They are garbage people. Garbage people. That is not an emergency. We all live in the city where the game was played. No one would have to get a flight or a hotel. I don't watch soccer, and even if we could have afforded tickets, I wouldn't have gone. You said that. Instead of going online and buying tickets right when they went on sale, you had to submit a list, which, okay, that was explained. And following the advice of the lawyer, already explained. And she's still leaving messages off. That is not much of an update. I want to know what you did with your bank accounts. I remember a guy asking where for the advice of his divorce. One person said, drain the bank accounts. Don't let her see the kids. Talk to every lawyer in town in case they all have conflict of interest and can't represent your wife. Literally everyone told him not to do this. Guess who he listened to? Because it went badly. I think he may have been facing some criminal penalties or severe civil penalties. It got to the judge what he tried to do, and the judge was not happy. All right. Next is from Made Me Smile. Oops. That's dumb. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. It's just music. It says POV when your best friend finally comes back home. And it's a little puppy and a big truck pulling in. I have to get the music taken off in here.
Gone by day, gone by night. It's not an
It's so
easy
cute.
road.
Oh, Pupper's so cute.
It's windy now, but someday it'll straighten out. But it's worth it on the other side.
Come up and cuddle him, man. Pick a puppy up and cuddle him. That's so cute. Wasn't expecting the little guy to cause so much dust. He clearly activated Disturbo. For sure. Night person says the cloud of dust is hilarious. And Erksplat says, I was getting so excited about the unconventional story of friendship between a puppy and a truck. Becca Bott says this could be a spectacular Pixar short. Alrighty, guys, that's all I got today. What is this? I don't know what that picture is. You know how Bing always throws something up there. Not my favorite. I like the nature ones. This is not a nature one. I will see you tomorrow at noon. Says I can go later to do grocery shopping. I have all evening tomorrow. So if I do grocery shopping in the morning, maybe I'll come home. We'll do extra session. That could be fun. Or maybe I'll actually get off my butt and edit some video and put it up on TikTok and stuff. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow at noon. Have a good evening. Love you all, biddies. Bye. Love you, love you.